team. How are you? Hello, hello. Hey, why don't you do me a favor real quick? And I'm scrolling through to see if my helper is on here. Hey, would you pop out some messages and just say, hey, team, if you can hop on the huddle, join us for the huddle. It's not going to be super long. I'm very much a get to the point. Some people love to share stories, some people love to talk, and I love to talk and I love to get to the point. So I am a let's do this type of person. We're going to give you some thoughts. We're going to give you an action step, and then you're going to go do them. So send out some messages, tell people to join us, and I will introduce myself, and we'll see if my lovely friend joins. If she doesn't, not a big deal. Listen, I've got this. So welcome. My name is Stephanie. If I do not know you, I am tuning in from Minnesota. I'm annoyed because I'm on my phone, so please forgive me. I normally do it from my computer so I can see what you're saying, but I have been sharing and drinking ketones for over 8 years. It's me and my husband, Steve. We have 4 daughters. We actually are making a big move. So we're in Minnesota till Sunday, and then we're moving to Florida. I actually want to share 2 questions with you at the end of this. We're going to dive in and give you some. Actually, I just need to make sure. I don't think, Heidi, are you on? I'm scrolling really quick to see if she's on. But we are. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I am a learner. Is anybody else on here a learner of all things? I listen to books and I listen to podcasts, whether I'm in a car or I'm showering or I'm doing my makeup or I'm cooking. If a kid doesn't need me, I'm learning. Now, Nick is too, something that I learned from Brian. If you're brand new, Brian Underwood, our CEO, I know that sounds funny, but I've had people join us. And if you're brand new, you might be like, who's Brian? Brian's our CEO. And I know he's told Nick this the same. He says, listen, it's great to read books. It's great to listen to podcasts. If you're listening and learning, then there's 2 ways to get it inside of you, right? Number 1 is you've got to take action on what you're learning, or number 2 is you have to teach it. Otherwise you forget it. And you wonder why we have to tell people over and over again. Sometimes you're like, listen, I've told my team, or I've told my customer, I've told my kids, I've told my spouse, right? 18 times, and they finally have heard it. It's because in order to retain information, you either A, have to put it into action, or B, you have to reteach it. It gets it into your mind. So here is what we're going to talk about real quick today. I don't see her on. Heidi, are you on? I'm going to say it one time, and if she's not on, not a big deal. Okay, she's not on. Guess what? You get me today. And I can also open it up if somebody wants to share. But what we were going to dive into, first of all, is I have some thoughts that I just want to give you, but we're going to give you the action step for the day first. Drop a 1 in the chat or raise your hand if you invited to the call last night. It's not a call, well, the live with Dr. Andy. I did. Awesome. I love it. There's a couple ones. All right. I think this is great. And if you listen to Nick share on I think it was Nick, he shared on the last huddle call, instead of doing Zoom. So I had a couple people ask about the Zoom tonight. We're not doing those. We're doing the lives. We're switching it. Not everybody wants to hop on a Zoom. So last night was super great. She answered a ton of questions. She is the expert. You're sharing your story, right? Now, what we get to do today, and the action step today for you, is simply this. I want you to follow up. I want you to go into anybody that you invited to go, hey, hop on the live. If you invited people, if you dropped a 1 in the chat, you invited somebody to join you and listen to Dr. Andy. Listen to her expertise. And so the action step for you today is to simply follow up and go, hey, and I already did it this morning. I popped in all of my chats, every single person that I invited, and I said, hey, did you get a chance to listen to the live from Dr. Andy last night? Listen, I did not send them the link or tag them right away. All I asked was, well, let me ask you this question. How many of you have sent somebody a message and it's like 5 paragraphs long and you're so excited to tell them all the things? And I can't be the only one. You guys, it's so overwhelming, right? So I do my very best to ask one question. Oh, I see. Let me finish this and I'm gonna let Heidi share. One question at a time, right? So it would be easy to go, hey, did you get a chance to listen to the live? If not a big deal. Here's the replay. I would love to know your thoughts. Like, it's too much. And sometimes people read them and they're like, like an overwhelmed mind, or even like having to read too much, which makes me sad because we just live in this, like, I need to figure out what you're saying to me and answer you. People just don't do anything. So what I did this morning is, all I did was I sent a message to everybody that I invited. And I said, did you get a chance to hop on the live with Dr. Andy last night? That's it. I didn't ask them if they have any questions. I didn't even share my story. I want to know yes or no, because I want to know if they're watching my messages. I'll tell you what to say after, but I do have Heidi. I think Heidi hopped on, and Heidi was going to give you some action steps around following up. So Heidi Geary, how are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
I am so great. I was telling everybody I laugh at myself because I am let's get to the point, let's get a Zoom, let's give some actions, and let's get off the Zoom. Mainly because I think people think of a Zoom as like building their business. I want to give you an action and then I want you to go and do it. But I know you were so excited to talk about follow up. So I would love for you to share anything that you want to share about how are you following up? What does that look like for you in your business and what you're doing today?
Absolutely. So what I have started doing, we hear it. The power of the follow-up. So I would put all this effort into creating the perfect thing, creating the perfect message to send to people, to create curiosity. We put so much effort into that. But once we have someone watching it, or once we create that curiosity, what happens? Where's the energy going? Once that we've created this excitement, are we just letting it go? And that's where the power is. That's where people are getting the hype, and they're seeing our community, and they're seeing how incredible we are, and how much value, and how much health, and how much what we are. And then we can't just leave them to the wayside. So to make it black and white, what I do is I make a list. I love my paper. I'm going to share with you guys what I have here on my paper. I'm just going to use a blank sheet, but I love my pen and paper. But I also like to not have a million notebooks. So this is a Rocket notebook. So what this is this is an erasable pen, and you write things down, and you can erase as you go, but you can also take a picture of this and it uploads into your computer. So just side note, look at Rocket Notebook and Google that. It's life-changing for me. You only need one book, not 50 like Heidi had. So I would make a list of who I'm inviting. Sorry, I'm having some computer things. I don't like my Mac. I like my pen and paper. So I make a list of who I'm inviting, but I don't leave it at that. I have a line through here, and then I have a list of who I'm following up, and then a checklist of when I have followed those people up. And so I have this, and then I also take a picture of this, and I have it uploaded into my phone because I have this cool Rocket notebook. So I don't have to carry this everywhere I go. I am on the go, working, picking my kiddos up from school, doing my mom stuff, doing all my things, and I'm not carrying my notebook around with me. But you can also do that with a regular notebook. You can take a picture and go from there. So it doesn't matter if they watched it or not. What matters is they received the message and they got my excitement. They felt it. Did they hear my voice? Did they hear me say, oh my goodness, my all-time favorite. I am so inspired by and I truly am so inspired by Dr. Andy. I make sure that they hear that and they feel that through me. You got to watch this. You got to hear this woman. She is mind-blowing. That's it. She knows all about hormones. She knows all about how to make you healthy. I followed her on my journey. That's what I sent to everyone yesterday. And so this morning I said, did you get the opportunity to watch her? Did you hear that? It was incredible. That's all I said to people this morning. I did not send videos. I did not share anything. I shared it into my ketones group, my recipe sharing group, but I did not send this to individual people. I want to communicate. I want to create a conversation with each individual.
It's so good. First of all, I can hear your heart because you're so sweet. And I love that. So I did the same, Heidi. I sent voice messages, whether you send a message and it can say like, Oh my goodness, that was absolutely amazing. Did you get a chance to watch it? Or I like to use my voice so people can hear you. Like if Heidi would have sent me that message, I'd be like, I better go watch it because I can hear how passionate she is about Dr. Andy. And that's it. It's following up. And then after they do that, like I love it because it's one question, right, Heidi? And then they send us a message back and they go, either A, yes, I watched it, I loved it. I always say, well, what was your biggest takeaway? And then I go back and look at our conversation, right? I look at what they're wanting. Hey, are you ready to get a trial pack? You guys, it's the power of the ask. You're leading the conversation. So then I'll say, hey, are you ready to start with our Nat 20 box? Or would you like a 5-day trial pack? I can get one packed up today for you. Let's get you started. I always say, let's get you started. Where should we get you started? Or I'm sure Heidi will get people that said, I actually had some this morning. I didn't get a chance to watch it. And I'll say, hey, I'm going to tag you in the video. You can do one of two things. It's up to you. I'll tag you in the video. You can actually share it to them in Messenger. But here's what I like about the tags, and you can tell me what you think, Heidi. You guys, there was some really great shares in the comments of people talking about how much fat they've lost and people sharing their own journey and people typing in the comments about their benefits of what they were experiencing with ketones. So when you tag them in it, not only will they go and watch it, but my hope is I'm going to say you should also read the comments because it's pretty cool to see people's experiences in the comments because that's just going to build their belief up more. What are you saying, Heidi, to them after they message you back?
I definitely want them to go to our Prove It page. I don't
Right.
want them to go into their messenger and see it. I want them to see us. I want to see all of us. And I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but I'm going to just say it.
Yeah, you
I
can tell
would
them what to do.
encourage you all to go in there and put your own personal comments in there. So watch it, put your own personal comments in there, show your people, show your potential customers, your current customers that, hey, oh, look, I know, I know Liz, I know Lisa. I see their comments there. They did watch this. Wow, she knows her and she knows them and blah blah blah. This is a big huge community. This isn't just a one-on-one conversation with this individual. Like this is a huge thing.
Which I will say, Heidi, and I'm guilty of this. Part of what we learn at Prove It, or part of something that Prove It goes through, is the DNA of Prove It, right? And so I know you've heard this, but we talk about lots of different things, and one of them is contributing as a promoter and doing your DMOs. If you don't know what that means, your daily method of operation. There's things that you do every day to move your business forward. And one of them, which again, I have gotten away from, is adding value and contributing to Prove It, meaning going into the actual Prove It Facebook page or Instagram, and it can be a part of my DMOs, a part of the list that I do, and commenting on one of Prove It's most recent posts. Why do we do that? Again, a reminder for myself is because we talk about how powerful this community is. We talk about how Prove It as a company, as a whole, we're changing that's changing our lives, and we're becoming friends and we're becoming business partners, and it's education. Like if we're talking about our company that way, when somebody goes and they go to Prove It and they go check out our Facebook or Instagram, what happens? Do they see a whole bunch of comments of excited promoters? Do they see that it actually is a community? Because that's why we should add that to our DMOs. That's why we should all go in and comment, right? So that they see your name, not just, well, she told me to watch it, but was she actually on? Well, he told me that this is an incredible video, but I don't see him commenting in there. I was told this is a really great community, but there's only 5 people commenting. Where's the community, right? Like that's an incredible reminder for myself to make sure every day I'm going in and adding value, because that's the contribution that I can do for Prove It. Because I do want people to know, hey, this is an incredible company. We do have a community behind us. We all are doing this together. And so I love that you shared that. I thought that was powerful. Hey, anything else about the follow-up, Heidi, that you're doing for today that you want to share?
Well, I'm incorporating the pro pop-up.
Yes.
Why not, right? I'm also incorporating hey, so this community, so I'm incorporating a couple different things, but I'm trying not to overwhelm, and I'm also trying not to overwhelm myself because I'm really great at that. So I have I love these too. And you can draw them. So I have these little tricks on my desk. So these little sticky notes, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 on them. So when I think, oh, I want to talk about this, and this. Okay, well, we don't want to bombard our people. So what are the things I'm going to talk about in my message? And I don't go over 3 things. So I'm going to talk today about, did you see Dr. Andy? And if I'm talking to a female, I'm going to talk about hormones. I'm going to talk about fueled by female. I'm going to talk about protein and pro, because we need it in our lives. And we got that great pop-up. And then I'm going to talk about, did you see the power of our community and how much we have available to us? Would you like to join as a promoter, or would you like to join as a customer? So that is going to be what my focus and goal is I'm going to talk about the power fueled by female. It is a huge thing I'm always on about. Protein I'm always on about. And we've got that amazing pop-up. And then always, 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 Mandy has taught me, are you going to join as a customer, or would you like to join and talk about joining as a promoter?
Oh, Heidi, that's so good. Did you guys all see the pop-up for that pro? Incredible. I love it. How many people want to try all the flavors? They're just not quite sure. So that's incredible. And I'm glad you brought that up so we didn't forget about that, because I think that's super cool. And the question that Heidi asks as she's navigating these conversations is, hey, do you want to join as a customer or a promoter? It just opens up the door. It's the power of the ask. You might have them ask about becoming a promoter. They might go, oh, I'm a customer. It doesn't matter what the answer is, right? You navigate the conversations, you make the ask, and then you navigate the conversations. I love that you said, it's interesting. I wrote this down, Heidi. I wrote down, an overwhelmed mind does nothing. So a podcast that I listened to this week, he talked about being overwhelmed and how so many people are overwhelmed in life. And then all of a sudden, with overwhelm, they fall into negativity. So he said, most people fall into a negativity mindset, and they fall into, they don't know what to do. They don't understand what you're saying. They're super overwhelmed. And then it just flows from there, because how often do we know that if one negative thought comes into our mind, it spirals? And people, as promoters, you do, and we get to help people not become overwhelmed by keeping the conversation simple, right? Not asking them 18 questions at one time, being relatable, but also we have to help navigate these conversations. The only way to switch overwhelm, like an overwhelmed mind, is to, number one, you get into action. That takes you out of overwhelm. When you are overwhelmed, you do nothing, right? And people do nothing. And when somebody says no to you, something that I learned this week when I was listening to this podcast, he says, did you know that most people, if he was talking about sales, and he said, most people, when they say no to you, it's not because they're actually not interested in they actually have no idea what you're talking about. They're overwhelmed. You're saying too much. You're talking at too high of a grade level, and you need to dumb it down. I was listening to a podcast or a training, and it was called Think Like a Genius, Talk Like a Third Grader. And he said, what you need to do, and he was talking about sales, is he said, you have to be able to share your story and what you love about ketones from a third grade level. Because if you're not doing that, people are going to say no to you. Why? Not because they don't want what you have. They just don't know what you're talking about. They don't understand it, but they also don't want to feel dumb and say they don't know what you're talking about. So then they just check out, and they nope. They might say it's too expensive. It might be an excuse. Nope, I'm already using something. The reason I tell people a majority of people say no about ketones is they don't understand it. That's why I love that we can interview these doctors, but our story has to be so simple, and using the words like energy. What is your story? Fat loss, right? What is your story? I needed to just be able to function and not have brain fog. Remember to use the terms that everybody can relate to. And then they might go on and listen to Dr. Andy, and they're probably going to have no idea when she starts talking about cortisol and mitochondria and all these things. That's not the point. That just builds your belief. How many of you listened to Keto Academy before? Did you become a doctor after that? I listened to that and I couldn't even take notes. But when people listen to that, or even Dr. Andy, it has nothing to do with them. It just makes them go, oh, this must be really good. Oh, She knows what she's talking about. She's the expert. Then they come back to you and they go, all right, Lisa, I'm ready. Why do you drink ketones? And Lisa goes, listen, this has helped me with my appetite. I'm not snacking all day. It gives me the energy to keep up with my life. Oh, I want that. Remember, your story needs to be simple and you let the experts be the experts, and not to get overwhelmed. You follow up with people one question at a time. All right, Heidi, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I would like to just add one more thing about
Yes.
the overwhelmed thing about us. What happens when we get overwhelmed? So, oh my goodness, okay, thanks, Heidi, I've got all these tips. Thanks, Steph, I got all these tips. I gotta go. I'm ready to go. Holy crap, I'm overwhelmed. Just stop and move your body. Just move your body, take some breaths. This is what I do. Okay. So this is what I do. If I stop and I'm like, oh, okay, all this is rushing in, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to detach myself. I'm going to take myself out of the situation. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to set a timer, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to come back. And it's just incredible how it all just goes, oh, compartmentalize. It works. Now I know what to do. Step 1, 2, and 3. And it seems to work so much better for me, because my overwhelm, I call it a couch coma. I just go into my couch and I go into this coma because I think I shouldn't move until I figure this out. But it's the opposite. I need to take out, do something different, and then go back in, instead of torture myself sitting in the same spot to figure it out.
I love this. I legitimately wrote this down on my notes to talk about that you went into, like overwhelming causes no action. You need to get up and move your body. Somebody being overwhelmed falls into negativity. If you want to go into a positive forward momentum of like moving forward, it's a choice. You've got to get off the couch. You've got to get off the chair. You've got to get up, move your body, like Joseph McClendon. If you don't know who that is, he comes to our events and he says, go jump on a trampoline for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, get out of your headspace, take some action, right? You have to make your mind, it's a choice to think positive. It's a choice to think differently. It's a choice to like calm yourself down, to come back and then do something, not nothing. So Heidi, I think you're amazing. And I love that. I think you compliment me because I'm so like, and you're just the sweetest, and I need sweet in my life. So hey, I have 2 questions I actually wanted to share with you guys before we go and you take action, because the action is the follow-up. That's it, right? The action for you on your notebook is 1 question at a time. Hey, did you get a chance to watch the incredible live that Dr. Andy did? 1 question at a time, right? That's it. That's not overwhelming. And then you lead with conversation. I wrote down 3 things. First of all, you as a promoter, you get to uncover what's valuable for that person you're talking to. Remember, you are a problem solver. People that are watching you, oh my goodness, hold on 1 second. My dad is trying to call me. People that are coming to you, they're coming to you because they have a problem. And you as the promoter get to be a problem solver. You get to build relationships. You get to be super sweet like Heidi is and go, hey, did you get a chance to? And then you get to share this simple conversation of prove it, of ketones. And it starts with building a relationship. It's time, patience, but it's you getting to know that person. Don't assume, right? You got to ask questions and figure out what they want, not what you want. And this is 2 questions that I have been running around in my mind for the last 48 hours. I shared it with some of our team. I was listening to another podcast because I am a listener of all things. And our family, and this, I hope this relates to you in lots of different ways. I'm going to give you these 2 questions because it really has helped me move forward in a couple of different things this week. And so, for example, our family is moving from Minnesota to Florida. And whether you're trying to decide, like, should I do the live? Should I do the festival that's next week? Should I really call my best friend and tell her what I think about ketones? Should I go across to my neighbor because I know she's a tired mom and go, hey, I've got something forward to you. Would you try it? I'm giving you like a promoter ketone conversation. These 2 questions posed to me this week completely shifted my mindset. I cried for like 48 hours because I felt like maybe we were making the wrong decision and moving, right? Isn't it interesting how even you joining as a promoter, how many times have they given you a negative voice in your mind? Why are you doing that? How can you do that? Is this one of those things? Like, are you really still with Prove It? Oh, you're still drinking that? You think this is going to work for your family? Right? So I had some thoughts of people in my mind making me question, like my head was in this spiral, like, oh my goodness, I'm going to ruin our family's life, but my soul was at peace. How many of you have like thoughts that go in here about Prove It, of other people saying things or what ifs, but like you do have peace about it? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So I have complete peace about this move. My mind was going crazy and I couldn't stop crying. And I was like, I'm going to make a terrible decision. Maybe we shouldn't go. Maybe we shouldn't do this. And here's 2 questions that you can use in any area of your life. It brought me complete peace because I could say yes to them. And the 2 questions were, they're one and the same, but phrased a little different. Number 1 is, if it fails, will I be happy that I tried? If it fails, will I be happy that I tried the booth, the table, the phone call? I tried that walking over to my neighbor. I called my mom. I called my best friend. Like I talked to a lady at the park. I was really nervous, but if she didn't want to talk to me, would I be happy that I tried? And the second one, posed a little differently, is, if I fail, is it worth the risk? If I fail, is it worth the risk? And I had to ask those questions to myself about the move. And my soul said, yes, I will be happy that we tried something that I believe is going to be great for our family. And if it fails, and remember, failure means different things to everybody, right? If it fails, is it worth the risk? And I could say yes very easily to both of those questions. So therefore, I'm going to keep moving forward. If whatever failure means to you, if you follow up with somebody today that you were super nervous about and they say no, is it worth the risk? Are you happy that you tried? Did it hurt you? Right? Absolutely not. I keep telling my friends, listen, if we make a wrong decision and we move to Florida, then I'll move back next year. I don't care. Right? And that's like extreme, like whatever, I can move again. If something doesn't go the way that you want it in your business, are you happy that you tried? And is it worth the risk? I would say a majority of all of those things that you are stretching yourself in or growing yourself in or like really nervous about and you need a whole bunch of courage, the answer is probably yes. Of course, right? I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm worried, I don't know what people think of me, but I for sure 100% know it's worth the risk. I'm going to be happy that I tried, because if I don't, I'm going to always wonder, what if I would have done that? What if I would have done the booth and the table? What if I would have asked my friend before somebody else on the street did and then she ordered from them? Or what if? Do you know what I mean? So, all right. I want to say, Heidi, is there anything else you want to say before we go? I know you're heading out the door.
I'm going to the gym.
You guys, I mean, I think, and I think Heidi probably has one of the best transformations as as a person and as her body. Like, if there's a story to share, Heidi's story is unbelievable. And she hits multiplier faster than anybody that I know in this company, because she's not afraid to share her story. Like, first of all, she lived it. She's done the work. She shares her story. She has complete empathy, compassion, and grace for people, and she does it so well, Heidi. And I just want to say thank you for sharing with us and adding value to our community, because I just think you're great.
Thank you. Can I share something funny?
Yes.
That's actually has meaning behind it. So, many of you know that I was terrified to go to the gym. It was just a big fear in my head. I still meet someone at the door to go into the gym. But one thing I have mind tricked myself is every time I go to the gym, I have to wear funny socks. So people expect me to have different socks on so I can be fun and silly every time I show up at the gym. And I have to show up for everybody to wear funny socks. So I have different socks every time I go there. So everyone's expecting me today with funny socks.
I love it. I love that, Heidi. You're just being you and you're having fun. And that's what we should do with our life and showing up. So thank you for sharing, Heidi. Have fun at the gym. I want to say thank you, team, for tuning in. Remember, don't be overwhelmed. Your action is to follow up. And then we do have a call. We're doing another live tomorrow night. It's all about becoming a promoter. So as you're following up and you're asking people, do you want to be a customer? Do you want to be a promoter? I want to be a promoter. Oh my goodness. We have another live tomorrow night, Thursday night. It's going to be really geared towards our opportunity, really geared towards our community and what I do. And you can hear more stories. So you've got the follow up with people to listen to Dr. Andy. Stay tuned to your pulse and we'll get you the information of what that's going to look like. But just know there's another live for you to plug into. I love that we're doing these together because it's just a place for us to invite, even if we can't show up for all of them, because we'll send them back to you. So I want to say thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. Don't get overwhelmed. Go follow up. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye, everybody.